Our guest is Laetitia from Gut&Glo, one of the first practitioners joining CISO Our Wellbeing platform. Laetitia offers personalized nutrition sessions both in French and English. She's joining us today all the way from London. Welcome, Laetitia.
Hello, Joanna. Thank you for having me. Let's do it in English today, if you don't mind, though.
Sure. Thank you so much. Let's start with the first question. Can you explain the link between gut health and overall well-being, and also how improving gut health will lead to a better health?
Sure, vast question. And gut health is a topic that has gained a lot of visibility over the past few years. But based on my experience, a lot of people only have a vague idea of what gut health entails. So I thought maybe I'll start with a short definition of what gut health is, if that's okay. So with gut health, we mean the balance of the gut microbiota. And what's a gut microbiota? It's a community, a large community of microorganisms. And when we say large, we're talking trillions of those microorganisms. And they are bacteria, lots of different kinds of bacteria, the good, the bad, and anything in between. Viruses, fungi, and other microbes that live in our gut. So that's the gut microbiota, not to be confused with other microbiota that we have in our body, for instance, in the mouth or in the vagina. So it can, for some, sound a little bit counterintuitive. I just use words such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and if you ask anyone on the street, do you want to have those in your body? The answer is likely to be no, thank you very much. I don't want viruses. But the gut microbiota is about all these microorganisms, and we need them. They're necessary. They are there just to allow that we can digest and absorb our food. What's important is you know, the balance of the gut microbiota, and we talked about that in a minute. The second part that is included in gut health, and I like to work on that as well, is not only the community of microorganisms, it's the functioning of the digestive system. So we have a digestive system that allows her to break down and absorb the food. Each organ has a particular task, or many tasks actually, to perform to allow that. And of course, if some are disrupted, then this is going to compromise the quality of our digestion. And that works hand in hand with the gut microbiota. It's part of the same community, so to say. So what is a healthy gut microbiota? And I have an answer for you here, but it may sound a little vague. A healthy gut microbiota is something that is balanced, is well balanced, and that's as good as I can go, because there's no such thing as the perfect gut microbiota picture or recipe, if you want. If you knew that, we'd be healthier, all of us, but it may not even exist. We are all very different. So what matters really is the balance. If you have too much of something, you're likely to have too little of something else. There's been a lot of research done over the last few years about gut microbiota. So we know a lot of those microorganisms. We know what ranges are healthy to have, and we have a much clearer understanding now of which should be more present and others a little less. So, for instance, there are bacteria that are, said to be commensal. They live with others and they play a role in relation with others, and others that are pathogenic, that can cause disease. We can still have a little of them, but too much may express the condition. So it's all about the balance. And for that, actually, the only way to know really is to do a test, so lab tests, and that will tell you. They are a little bit hard to read, and that's why you need the support either of the lab and or nutrition therapists to understand them. So research is progressing a lot in that area, but I'd like to emphasize that there's still a lot we don't know, and it's certainly very, very helpful to know all about, the research that's done. But at the end of the day, when working with the client and implementing a plan, it's about what is working for this specific client, not for the vast majority of people. I like to emphasize that, because it's not always going by the letter. As long as the client feel better with what we put in place, the readings actually are less important. But it's a very good start to understand what's going on in the person gut microbiota. So one more thing about the gut microbiota, I like to throw another word in here, is dysbiosis. So what happens when the balance is not as we'd like it to be? This is called dysbiosis. So it's an imbalance in the gut microbiota. And back to your question, what's the link between gut health and well-being and health overall? There's a clear link now. There's so much research about it. There's a clear link that poor gut health is associated with autoimmune conditions, digestive conditions, even mental health conditions, poor immunity, so the ability to fight infections. Now, what's less known is whether poor gut health leads to those conditions or whether those conditions induce poor gut health. There's not enough knowledge now to draw that conclusion. But what we know is that people with those conditions have poor gut health, the vast majority of them. And by improving gut health, they seem to feel better in certain areas. So that alone should be a motivation for us then to work on our gut health. As to the health of the digestive system, which I mentioned before, that all organs work as good as they can, that's also an area that I look at, because I think it belongs together. And the short of it is, not everyone body's functions as optimally as it should, because we have a genetic predisposition. So we have some genes that have been altered, and some functions don't work properly, or we have a condition that means a body function is suppressed or reduced or enhanced. So that could throw overboard the balance. Or we're taking medication that means, it's creating all these side effects sometimes in some people. So what I like to look at is both the gut microbiota and the digestive system, how to optimize them. And in the end, the chances that you're going to feel better are very high if you manage to operate a shift there, support your body the best you can, and restore a healthy balance. Then it's proven that you can help with a lot of symptoms. And as I said before, it could be that you're better able to fight infections. It could be that you manage to reduce the chronic inflammation in your gut. I remember you published an article on Sisu about leaky gut, very, very relevant, because leaky gut is a side effect of dysbiosis, and that leads to chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is something that is found, for instance, in autoimmunity. So if anyone has got autoimmune diseases, it's very important to keep inflammation at bay. And working on the gut and digestive system is, it all starts there. It's very, very important.
Yes.
So yeah, I think have I answered your question properly there, or did you have more questions?
Yes, thank you so much. It looks like it really clears for me anyway.
Good. I now, because I could talk forever on that, maybe one more short sentence about the different factors. What influences gut health is probably very important. I forgot it. It's the diet, obviously, what we put in our mouth. But you'd be surprised how stress can impact the digestive system and the gut microbiota. So lifestyle is key. It's not only what you put on in our mouth, it's how we eat and the stress levels. So yeah, just to add this last note.
Yes, thank you for that. That was really helpful. And how do you educate clients about the importance of nutrition for optimal health?
Yeah, the word education is very important. It's part of what I do with my clients for sure. So when clients come and see me, they already know to some extent, or they're at least suspecting that nutrition and health and well-being are linked together. That's why they come and see me. They either experience symptoms or they struggle reaching their health goals, or their full health potential, if you will. They suspect that what they eat may not fully support what they're trying to achieve, but they don't really know where to start. So what to eat and what to change exactly. There's so much information out there, it's really difficult to untangle everything. So the first thing we do when we work together is to identify the root causes of the symptoms that they're experiencing, or what stands in the way of them achieving their health goals, which are different for everyone, right? I'm working with them to reach what they want to reach, not what I consider health for them. So that's what I call the investigation phase, which is, takes a good amount of time. Then the next step is to draw learnings from the investigation that we've did together. And when I say investigation, it could be a lab test, but it's also listening to the client, their story. They know a lot about their own body already. They've tried so many things already, and they're able to tell me those stories. And I pick the information that I think would be relevant to get a full picture of their current health status and what might not be in balance. And then after the investigation phase, when I draw the learnings, then this is when I translate this into a nutritional plan. So it's about identifying the foods and the lifestyle habits that are most helpful for them, and those foods and lifestyle habits that are not, and putting that in a plan that works for them in relationship to what they're trying to achieve. So, and this is when the education phase kicks in. It's the takeaway of the consultation, really. That's what they have in their hand, and we spend a lot of time going through it. So that's where I do the heavy lifting, so to say. I interpret the results and I put them in the context of their unique goals, and their unique bodies and their personal situation, their food preferences, their dietary requirements, etc. So it's very, very personalized and aimed at achieving what they want to achieve. So the education phase is, well, that depends. Some clients like to understand what's going on in the body, because it gives them the sense that they are in control. They understand why they're doing that, and is motivating them to sticking to the changes. Others don't really want to know the science behind it. They just want to know what to do. So I deliver whatever works for them. It's all about understanding the personality of the client. But for some would like to understand more, then I will translate the findings of the investigation into normal language, something that's understandable for everyone, and from them just guide them. So it's not only about understanding, but it's about being able to implement those changes. So changes, food habits changes are so difficult to implement. If you've been eating the same thing for all your life, if this is the way you were raised at home, that's so difficult to change. And then we have our food taste. Some people have a very broad food taste, very curious about exploring different foods, and others just have a limited taste. So my job is really to guide them through the changes. Why are we doing this? And how are we going to do this? And how are we going to make it relevant and realistic for you? So it's a collaboration. It's just not me talking at them. It's me listening to what they like to do, what's their lifestyle, what do they do in the day, what's their appetite for cooking, what's their restrictions, sometimes budgetary restrictions, etc. So it's very personalized. So the education phase is super important because this is when I guide them, I support them through the high and lows of implementing those changes. But again, there's no one size fits all in that area.
I get it. And I'm actually curious, could you share a case where actually personalized nutrition significantly improved a client's well-being?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's probably the toughest one that you sent across when I prepared this interview. Sometimes I see a client and just after one session, we've identified the problem, what's the root cause of the symptoms. It's a change that they managed to implement, and then they feel better. They've achieved their goal health. That happens more often than you'd think, and sometimes they're really simple, or they already know it. Just need me as a professional to reiterate it and give them the confidence that yes, they should go in that direction and try more. But today I thought I'm just going to share a story of a client with whom I've been working for a few months. So complex condition, I would say, and it doesn't have to be for everyone, but yeah, it's Jane, and Jane has very kindly left a testimonial on my website, so I'm allowed to say a little bit about her. I can't go too much into details because this is private data, but I hope to be able to give you a feel for what we worked on and how that helped. So I've been working with Jane for several months now. Jane has been suffering from multiple conditions for about 20 years, of which autoimmune conditions. Diet before she started to work with me wasn't very diverse. It was very high in saturated fats and sugar. We could call it, convenience food, lots of processed food, the typical Western diet for someone who doesn't have much appetite to cook and much time, and has been just raised on those, food that are easy to find everywhere in the Western world. She grazed all day until late at night, and therefore she didn't really feel the need to eat, to have a proper meal more than once a day. And she came to see me primarily because she wanted to improve her liver values, and that's what the doctor said to her. Your liver values are very poor. If you keep doing like this, if we don't improve them, then your life expectancy is going to be limited, which sounds really hard to hear, but in a way that has prompted her to seek professional support there, and she decided she's not going to try yet another diet or another something on her own, that she needed proper support. So with multiple conditions, the investigation phase I was mentioning before, we didn't really have to do that much because she had so much data that she was followed by multiple doctors. So I had already a lot of knowledge about her conditions, and her diet was so poor, as in poor like everyone would know about, that it was clear that this is where we needed to start. We just needed to start having a balanced diet, something that would, of course, support a liver, reduce the toxic load on a liver, but also nourish our body properly, right? It wasn't nourished properly. Sorry. So we, based on her taste, and because she has some restrictions as well, she can't eat everything she wants because of other conditions, but taking everything into account, I designed a plan with the diet that she should have, the things that she should be eating, and then talking about the education phase, which was big and still going on. because again, it's so difficult to change your food habits when you've had it for all your life and you enjoy it, right? You enjoy your sugar and your fat. Who doesn't? So we discussed the strategies to transition her to a healthy diet. And when I say healthy, this is very generic here. We're talking more vegetables, more fruits, more fiber, the right sort of fats, more nourishing protein, and also in her case, less grazing, because she needed to have 3 meals and graze less. So it was all about helping her transition from, this poor diet to a healthy diet, to support her liver and also to be as anti-inflammatory as possible. With autoimmune condition, that's something that's very important. So I focus exactly on those foods and supplements. In her case, we needed to have some supplements beside food to be able to deliver sufficient nutrients that she needed. I also explained how the grazing wasn't helpful for her. And then we started from grazing all day long throughout the night on a unhealthy snack to grazing a little less, but at least on healthy snacks, to no grazing at all and just having three meals, which sounds trivial for a lot of us, but for Jane it was massive. That's just the way she'd been living forever. So we kept inflammation down. We also did a food intolerance test talking about inflammation, and food intolerance tests allow you to identify the food that create an immune reaction. So you may not have any symptoms. You may not notice. It doesn't necessarily express itself as, oh, I feel bloated or I get a headache or something like that. You can go without any symptoms and still have food intolerance that are going to increase your immune reaction, so create inflammation. So for her, it was really important that we do that. It's not something that I do systematically with everyone, but in terms of autoimmune condition, this is really key to understand. So we did that, and we excluded those few foods that were causing the inflammation, or at least we make sure we keep the load as small as possible, because it's just not always possible to exclude everything from your diet. Make sure we replace progressively. What you lose on one hand, you need to replace with something else. And that's really important from a nutritional therapy perspective. It's, yes, sometimes we have to remove something, but more importantly, it's about introducing something new. And that requires, clients to open up to new taste and discover new ways of preparing foods and training the taste buds to new taste. So the results have been really impressive, beyond my imagination, actually, if I'm honest, because the list of conditions was so high, and health status when we started working together was not great. But health has been improving massively. So our gut and digestive health have improved drastically within just a few weeks, which is what blew me away. But also because she managed to implement the changes, right? It's just not me telling her what to do, it's her being able to implement them. It was a really close collaboration. We speak every week, actually. So not only our liver values have improved to the point that a liver specialist was really impressed with her, but she's also overcome some massive digestive symptoms, things that have been really, really difficult to live with through the last 20 years. So that was not something that we aimed working on. She didn't even mention them. But then when she was telling me about the progress she was making, say, yeah, the liver values are improving, but guess what? This is what happened. It was just phenomenal, and she was so happy about that. Also with that, she has less joint pain, which is a sign that the chronic inflammation is going down. She also has better hair and skin. She didn't want to work on that, but that's a positive, collateral effect of working on gut health and digestive health. And she's lost some weight. So weight loss was not, a top priority, but she needs to do that because that would, just support her overall health, get more mobile, and she was very pleased about that as well. So there's still a long way to go, because changing your food habits overnight is impossible. And also there was Christmas in the way. The winter infections didn't help really here. Life could just get in the way. So we have this weekly conversation. We monitor the progress. We do trials, sometimes errors. We adjust the plan. We reiterate. We go back to certain things that got a little bit put on the side for some reason. She's doing great, and it's just, I knew that already, but with every client where you see so much progress, it just reinforces the message for me and for everyone how important food, nutrition, lifestyle is, and how we shouldn't feel defeated when we have a condition. Some are not curable, and you will live with them. It's called a chronic condition. You will live with them for the rest of your life, but you can immensely support your body, and you can reduce the symptoms of those conditions with nutrition and lifestyle adjustments that are right for you. And I insist on for you. It's all about personalized nutrition.
Great.
So that was Jane. She's great. Love her.
Oh, wow. She's the lucky person to have found you.
Yeah, and I'm lucky to have her. It's a huge learning from both sides, and I look forward to our weekly calls. And I'm happy with her. Sometimes I'm sad with her. It's yes, it's been great. Yeah, but she needs to get off me at some point. And she said recently she felt so much more knowledgeable about her own body, what's right for her in terms of food. I've taught her a lot of things about food, which she didn't know, and she's grateful for that. And now it's about getting the family on board, because the support from your friends and family is massive. If you're alone there with your fight, it can be a fight. Changing habits can be a fight. Then it's much more difficult. So I'm really hoping that at some point I can let off her hand, and then she's fully equipped to thrive on her own as much as they can within what she has. She has conditions. So yeah.
Okay, I get it. Well, it was quite an impressive story, to be
Thank you.
honest.
She is impressive.
I have one more question for you, if you still have time. It's about your personal brand, Gut&Glo, right? Because you offer the brand Gut&Glo as your personal brand on Sisu. And
Mm-hmm.
so how does your brand Gut&Glo simplify nutrition for clients and provide practical strategies for improving nutrition and lifestyle?
So first, on my brand, that's something that I get asked on a regular basis. Why Gut&Glo? I do specialize in gut health and digestive health, because I think this is where everything starts. So you can have imbalanced hormones. The chances are that by improving your gut health, the gut microbiota we were talking about before, you will be able to have better balance hormones. If you experience migraines, same answer. Joint pain, same answers there, and of course digestive issues, symptoms in the digestive tract. There are so many things. It all starts there, and which is not too surprising, right? Because we live from the air we breathe and the food we eat and drinks. So this is why I call my company Gut&Glo. But then to go back to your question about it was simplify nutrition, right? How I simplify the message around nutrition. Yeah, there is a need for simplifying, I think, because there's so many contradictory messages out there. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of good stuff, but you need to know where to find it, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much. So I as one of my missions, I like just to make it accessible and to empower my clients with the knowledge about food. So, reading through all the diet fads, and also understanding that it's not because the food is good for someone that is good for me. On the contrary, And also based on the fact that we're all different. There's no one size fits all diet for everyone out there, and especially depending on what we want to reach, right? So my job is to get to know my clients from all angles possible. It's a very holistic view. It's something that we have the chance as complementary practitioners, complementary medicine practitioners to do. We have the time with our clients. If you go to the GP here in the UK, at least they have 10 minutes to talk to you. We take hours if needed to understand fully the person, their unique bodies, their genetic makeup, if we do some testing, their preferences, their lifestyle, all the events that have led to what their health status is today, health and sometimes mental health in the broader sense, right? I'm not trained in that area, but when I say mental health is how supported you feel, what's your mood like, and what's your stress level. Stress, very important. Important as in plays a major role in our overall health and on how our body deals with food, definitely. So I identify the root causes of the symptoms, and I tailor a nutrition plan that will help them improve their health and their well-being, while fitting in their lifestyle, their taste, their dietary preferences. So that's, it's really taking this big blur around nutrition, all the different factors, this element that makes someone up, distilling it down to what is the most food that's helpful for you and what you want to reach, and how do we take your diet from being what it is today to being what it should be according to the investigation and what you want to reach. And that is summarized in the plan. And I'll provide different levels of information based on the appetite for the science behind all of this. So the practical side of the plan is as important as in, it's good to know why and what, but how is crucial as well, because if you don't know the how and if you don't feel empowered, then you will fail. You'll have knowledge, but you can't implement it. So what is it good for? That is also part of simplifying nutrition for my clients. So I try and equip them to be able to make those changes based on their ability, on the interest, appetite for cooking, the time available for cooking. And then my recommendations are just as manageable and realistic as possible. It's a conversation, it's a collaboration, it's sometimes trials and errors, see what works for them. It's a lot about listening. I can't really simplify things if I don't listen to them properly. And yeah, based on that, I hope to, support them the best I can, but more importantly, equip them for the future. So it's a learning for life, right? You understand what's good for you, what's not so good for you, what you should be doing to achieve your health goals, to maintain them, and then off you go. It may change over time because our body changed over time, but I do my best to equip them for at least a few years to come.
Mm. Great. So this, for me, it means simplifying nutrition means to actually personalize it towards my needs and towards what I want or how I cook and how I live. Basically making my life easier with the nutrition plan in it.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the answer. A very short answer, but that is it. Thank you so much. That's a very good summary, Joanna.
Well, I really need that, I think, for my life, personalized nutrition plan. So I might be knocking on your door, or if not me, I invite
Please feel free.
our
Please feel
viewers
free.
to check, actually go on sisu.com, type Gut&Glo in the search bar, or click on practitioners and find Gut&Glo on the list, and then visit your store, read about your bio, about your products, and choose the one that really suits them, because I think a lot of us are very confused about nutrition, and you are providing this personalized plan that fits into my life. So I would be really interested.
Thank you so much. I'd like to close it with saying that a holistic approach is really important. It's, you know, it works best if you also work with other practitioners. And that makes it sound like it's not making things simpler, but it does. We are influenced by so many things in our life. There's so many factors that influence our health. Making the right food choices is very helpful. But if you're highly stressed, or if you can't sleep, you know, it all starts with the sleep, for instance. I mean, for me, in my personal life, and what I try to convey to my clients, number one priority, sleep. If you don't sleep well enough, if you don't have the restorative sleep, then your body cannot really support you and restore overnight and work properly. Then nutrition, and then exercise. And actually, they come pretty close for me. But these three work together. So I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm trained in helping people understanding the root causes of the issues and guiding them for personalized nutrition. But there are other practitioners that will help clients get over sleep issues, find more relaxation. It's you know, and ideally you have that soul, mind, and body connection. I can't deliver that on my own, but the great thing about the CSU community is that there are other practitioners covering all these areas. So 2 points, it's, you know, there's a lot of information there as well to help client understand the areas they may want to explore. So I really encourage everyone to go on the website, do some reading about the areas of interest, check the different profiles, talk to practitioners. A lot of us offer free discovery calls. I do. I have a 20-minute free discovery call with clients who are interested. It's non-binding. It's free and you can ask any questions. We're not going to talk about solutions there. That's not the purpose, but at least it would give you an idea of how we work, how we may be able to help you, if we're able to help you, and if not, we would probably be able to guide you towards another practice.
Well, wow, that's great, because you know, these free discovery calls that can be really game changer in the sense of finding the right one for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been really, really great talking to you, and thanks for giving me a chance to introduce myself. I've gone on and on and on. So thanks for channeling my answers here. Anytime you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to do another one on a specific topic if you want, Joanna.
Thank you, Laetitia, for our chat today, and hope to meet with you soon.
Same here, Joanna. Take care. Have a nice one.
You too. Bye.